be on a revenge path here. Like you have said before, this matchup is very good for Andrew, and Pablo was able to just beat him 2-1 in the first round. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see if he can repeat that here. We can go ahead and take a look at Pablo's accomplishments as a player yet again. Considered one of Mexico's best players, has a world's top 4 in 2005, top 8 in 2017, and then Oceania International finalist in 2017 as well. And he has pretty much done a lot of the innovating when it comes to Pikachu and Zekrom GX as well. I know a lot of the tournaments he's been grinding and trying to perfect the perfect list.
Absolutely. And on the other side of this match, we have Andrew Mahone, who you just saw again, a regionals finalist. He has that world's 9th place. He's a regional champion as well, and even has made it to the elimination rounds of the North American International Championship. He's playing that Blacephalon deck you've seen throughout this tournament. One other thing to note about both of these players is that, and they're both great players in their own rights, have a list of accomplishment and a list of trophies on the shelf, but they've also both been so crucial to kind of the content creation right now. They both given so much back to the community in streams and YouTube videos, coaching, things like that. Both very beloved players, and I think we can go back down to the game and see who's going to join Toward Recklin in the grand finals. Will it be Andrew Mahone, who based on numbers has that advantage, or will Pablo kind of beat the odds twice in a row?
Yeah, and like you said, these are probably both two of the fan favorites here in this tournament, trying to make it to grand finals here. And Pablo starts off with that Pikachu and Zekrom GX. Meanwhile, Andrew has a pretty good hand himself, Jirachi and Blacephalon to start off.
And Andrew is going second here, which is something that is usually a disadvantage, but really in welder decks, a lot of the time you do not care about going second because so much of your play is based on being able to play that welder. You do have the Intrepid Sword on the Zacian side, but overall you really do not mind it. We see Pablo is kicking things off with a quick ball here. Going to go ahead and confirm the cards that are prized, probably taking another Pikachu and Zekrom GX.
Yeah, this hand is a little bit awkward for Pablo here, though. Double reset stamp to Dene GX means these reset stamps will have to get discarded for him to even have a semblance of a turn. And that means Andrew is free to play the entire game without having to worry about his hand. Those are the only 2 reset stamps in Pablo's list, and he does not play something like a Marnie.
Yeah, that is absolutely huge. We've seen throughout this tournament how important reset stamp can be, especially when combined with a great catcher on Oricorio, which is something we've seen multiple times through this tournament. If Andrew is just free to not ever be reset stamp, not ever worry about the quality of his hand, I gotta believe that he's just already boosting those numbers up. Maybe this matchup was 60-40, but when your peaker opponent has no reset stamps, it might go all the way up to 65-35.
Yeah, and that is not good news for Pablo, but passing the turn here, Andrew does have a Fiery Flint. Yet again, I think this has probably been his turn 1 play every single game.
You love to see the Fiery Flint discarding the Dene, saying, I don't want to commit any 2 prizers to the board, especially one that gets tag bolted so easily. Let's just search through my deck. Let's get these 4 energies. I have the Welder as well. And it would be huge if Andrew can get the knockout here on his very first turn. It's going to be difficult, but it is something these Blacephalon decks can do.
Yeah, well, when you have Welder and Stellar Wish, anything is possible.
Speaking of Welder, we do see there's the Welder, 2 energies. Gets him another Welder, a Fire Crystal, and a Zacian.
It doesn't look like a turn 1 attack here yet. No Fire Energy in the discard. Needs to find something like another Fiery Flint here. But if not, can always rely on that Zacian V to just charge up even more. Oh no.
So no Fiery Flint.
Does not find it, but gets that quick ball. It might give him some more options to be able to keep digging, but all right. We could also see something like Switch and Scoop Up Net to maybe reuse Jirachi, but again, that's just digging a lot. At what point do you kind of just stop and okay, Pablo didn't have that great of a turn 1. I'm fine if I don't get a deal 250 damage turn 1.
Yeah, one of the things I really learned playing with this deck is that you often just can't afford to do that sort of stuff. Kind of the normal, a lot of normal Pokemon strategy goes out the window because you are so focused on just streaming these KOs. We do see the second Stellar Wish does not hit a
We're gonna
fiery
see a
flint,
third
but
Stellar Wish here.
he is committing the second Jirachi to the board. Thinking about committing the Zacian, he can go for the switch into the second Stellar Wish. Of course, that meant Jirachi was scooped up, but no, he's just deciding, okay, I don't want to go in that deep. I don't want to use so many of these resources. Let's just Intrepid Sword. Not the turn one knockout I was looking for, but a pretty good turn one either way.
Yeah, let's not get too fancy here. All right, but Pablo does have access to quite a few different options. Has Volkner to search for something like a Lightning Energy and something like a Stadium Nav to try to get that Thunder Mountain Prism, get a quick full blitz out. He also has the option of maybe getting a Dedenne GX and Boss's Orders and hope to draw into the cards he needs that way. A little bit more risky, so I like the consistency of this Volkner here.
Yeah, definitely. Volkner, very powerful card in this deck, just letting you have access to so many different options. And the thing, too, you got to think about going into this match is that Pablo knows, okay, based on the numbers, I got lucky to beat Mahone the first time. I need to do that again. I need to kind of, it's easy enough to hit a 60-40 once, but when you do it again, you have to really focus. He has to make every play perfectly and hope that Andrew stumbles a little bit, honestly, in order to advance here and get another shot toward Reklev.
All right. Well, it looks like Pablo is going all in here, grabs the air balloon from the Volkner as long as with the lightning energy as well. And with energy switch and then electromagnetic radar, I think he's going to be able to draw with the Dedenne and kind of get the full Monty going. Although discarding 2 Boss's Orders, only having access to 1 left. So a lot of late game resources being discarded by Pablo here early on.
Yeah, not those reset stamps are gone. Those Boss's Orders are gone. Pablo is mostly going to be playing a fair game here, knocking out active Pokemon. The Pokemon Andrew leaves active. We do see that Zeraora hitting the board. There's the air balloon, Marshadow, and finally another no discard required Dedenne change.
All right. Well, he did get the energy, so that will be able to attack with full blitz and charge up the other Pikachu and Zekrom on the bench. So this is what Pablo is looking for, but this opens up Andrew to just start Fireball circusing for a lot of damage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Andrew, we spoke a lot about Andrew missing that first knockout. But at the end of the day, the thing you have to realize is look at the price count, right? It's just still 5 remaining for Pablo. Even if Andrew misses another knockout, it's very possible that Andrew, or even if Pablo misses another knockout, it's very possible that Andrew can come back. That the prize deficit is so real and so important that Andrew's probably going to be taking hopefully 3 prizes with every knockout, which is a lot fewer knockouts than Pablo needs to take. So even being on the back foot a little bit isn't really so bad.
Yeah, and I like grabbing the Mew here. With its bench barrier, being able to prevent Tag Bolt from actually trying to help Pablo catch up in the prize race by maybe taking out something like the Zacian B and a Blacephalon at the same time.
And we do see the Welder just for 1 to finish loading up that Blacephalon. Stellar Wish finds a Quick Ball.
Oh, no. I only see 2 energy in there and no access to Fiery Flint. We might just see another pass of the turn with Intrepid Sword here.
Yeah, I mean, he can. Andrew can use the Quick Ball that he found off the Stellar Wish to find an Oricorio. He has a lot of options here, but he really needs. I mean, we talked about how he can stumble a little bit, how he can take some time off, but he can't take this long.
Well, I do love using the resources when you have them. Energy Retrieval gets the 2 fire energy back just so you can discard it with Quick Ball, because all the rest of your cards in your hand you're going to need, especially when you're going to be using the Stellar Wish multiple times in a turn with Scoop Up Net.
So
again, no Fiery Flint.
Nothing.
He needs Fiery Flint off these Stellar Wishes and just cannot find it.
He does have the opportunity to do it again. We see the second Jirachi.
All right.
There's a Scoop Up Net on the active.
What is this, like the 10th Stellar Wish in this turn?
All right, there is not a Fiery Flint again. He's going to do it again. There's going to be 4 Stellar Wishes this turn.
Yep, he just needs to. He can't afford to go this far behind. All right. Do we get it this time?
No. This is insane to think about. I think we're going to see a 5th Stellar Wish, possibly. He has the
yeah, I mean, he does have the double switch play available to him.
The Scoop Up Net allows you to do some crazy things, Kenny, and I haven't really seen this yet.
Yeah, I mean, Scoop Up Net just changes the game so much when you have a card like Jirachi in your deck. Just, I mean, this, we used to think it was good when people would, Stellar Wish, find an escape board and do it again, right? And now we're seeing this is the 5th one. There's the Flint!
And the Fiery Flint! Wow, he finally gets after 5 Stellar Wishes!
Okay, it costs him basically everything, but he has found the Fiery Flint. This is what's important. Advancing Andrew Mahone's game state, taking these knockouts, eliminating the Pikachu and Zekrom, eliminating the energy on the board is what is important for Andrew Mahone, basically at whatever cost.
Yeah, like, you really just have to go for it, because if you do get it, you're going to take 3 prizes, and then next turn you're probably going to take 3 more prizes and win the game.
Now he's trying to determine what to discard. It looks like that Mew and that other Fire Energy are hitting the discard pile.
The Mew is a little less good since you're taking out one of the Pikachu and Zekrom with 3 energy attached. You're not afraid of a tag switch combination.
Yeah, you're kind of eliminating that play, at least for the next couple of turns. And if things kind of go wrong, you have the Ordinary Rod, of course, to get back the Mew. So not too worried about that. We do have the 4 energy in hand, and of course this crystal can come down and find the necessary 5th.
Well, this turn has gone on for forever, but Andrew has finally found everything he has needed, and even has the Mine Report to put the Welder on top for next turn, almost sealing the game up here for Andrew.
Yeah, just saying, unless I have another bad run like I had last turn, if you leave a 3-prize Pokemon in the active position, it's very likely going to get knocked out. There's the first attack of the game for Andrew Mahone. Fireball Circus for not 1, not 2, but 3 prizes.
That is just insane to think about. I can't believe
Flint off the prizes
Stellar Wishes. Oh man,
it took all 5 of them.
Good for Andrew here. Pablo is definitely going to need to find something going. A ton of Pokemon in the hand, not really what you want to see. And remember, he's had to discard those reset stamps turn 1. And that would be something you'd want to search for with this Volkner right here.
I was just going to say the Fiery Flint off the prizes for Andrew Mahone too. We don't have, no reset stamps, no fear of that. It's just available for him next turn, the knockout, if Pablo has to attack with a 3-prizer this turn. Marshall are going to go ahead and clean up that Ultra Space, but it's not what we're doing here.
Best possible play for Pablo is to probably attack with that Boltund V, just so he does not get it taken out. But there is the temptation of, I already got this Pikachu and Zekrom GX charged up. I could just take a knockout,
And that's what we're seeing. Right. We're seeing he's going to go ahead. Okay, I need to take the risk here. I need to full blitz.
Well, if I remember my math class correctly, I'm pretty sure Andrew has just enough fire energies to take the knockout here. If not, he also has access to a Jirachi Stellar Wish. And it's all thanks to that Mine Report. Oh, that's guaranteed. Now, double Fire Crystal and the Fiery Flint. That means Andrew has all of the fire energy from his deck. And then, actually, that's exactly enough. Man.
Yeah, I was going to say it's actually just perfect here with the 2 crystal.
Well, 50 more.
50 more because he has the 6 in hand, and that is the knockout, and that is the game. Just 2 knockouts with Fireball Circus is going to lead Andrew Mahone to victory here. He's up a game. He's lost to this player before. He's lost to this matchup before. And I think that is exactly how this Blacephalon deck is supposed to function. It is supposed to say, okay, I'm gonna do a bunch of Stellar Wishing. I don't care if I fall behind. I'm just gonna knock you out twice, and that's the game.
Yeah, and it just took. It felt like forever for Andrew to find that Fiery Flint, but it really just took 2 turns?
Yeah,
3 turns. But
a lot of game actions. A lot of spinning of the wheels, but he did on the last turn, on the last chance, find that Fiery Flint that led him to the game. We can go into game 2 now. As Pablo's back is against the wall. He is playing for his tournament life. He is playing versus a bad matchup. He wants to play versus Tord. He wants to make the grand finals, but I mean, is he going to be able to? It's all up to the next 2 games. Pablo is going to have to win 2 games of a bad matchup if he wants to advance.
Well, looking at Andrew's hand here, it is not looking too good. The one downside I think about this Blacephalon deck is since you're playing so many copies of essentially the same card, Scoop Up Net and Switch are essentially the same card form. Energy Retrieval and Fire Crystal and Fiery Flint, same card really. And he has a hand full of just those and nothing else. Not even energy. He plays 13 of them.
He kind of has all the enablers and none of the payoffs here, as nothing can really be done. He's going to drop the Cramorant. I don't think he wants to drop the Oricorio, and he just has to pass.
Yeah. One Fire Energy would turn on his hand with that Heat Factory, but that is not the turn 1 you wanted to see for Andrew here. And Pablo sees an opening, and his hand is able to capitalize on it.
Yeah, absolutely. He is going to go for the Electromagnetic Radar here, starting things off with a Pikachu and Zekrom GX and a Zorora GX. Wow, Andrew has a couple of draws. He has a couple of turns to get out of this, but he's going to need something big.
A couple. I think he has 1 turn. Even with this Volkner, that's even probably saying too much.
Yeah, I mean, maybe that's true. Maybe just kind of stumbling in this matchup is just too difficult when you have such a good hand on Pablo's side as well.
Like, honestly, with the Volkner, yeah, you get that Stadium Nav, discard the Lightning with Quick Ball to get that Tapu Koko Prism, and as long as he gets the heads, which he did, he'll be able to switch and Full Blitz turn 1.
Wow, this is truly living the dream for Pablo, the turn 1 Full Blitz. There's a Thunder Mountain. There's a Tapu Koko Prism Star.
This is the kind of start Pablo needed to see here.
And this is exactly what I was talking about when I said, Pikachu and Zekrom GX has the best sort of turn 1 potential, right? We haven't really seen it so far yet, but now we're seeing it here. The turn 1 Full Blitz doesn't happen all the time, but when it does, it's absolutely devastating, especially versus an opponent that is lacking resources.
Even finds a Quick Ball to get another tag team to charge up. And that Raichu and Alolan Raichu probably having the most HP in Pablo's deck, the hardest to take a knockout on from Andrew.
So there's the knockout. All those energy are going to go right on to that other big tag team. And what does the top of the deck have for Andrew Mahone here? It is a fire.
Right, it's a fire that lets him spin the wheel with Heat Factory, and then who knows from there. Also has Oricorio GX with that Dance of Tribute to be able to draw 3 cards here. All right, gets a Welder. Not too shabby. Again, he needs a lot of cards. Quick Ball keeps it spinning. Quick Ball could discard the fire and then get a Blacephalon, and then you just get the fire energies back with Retrieval and Welder to it, and you continue just the draw 3 cards effect.
Yeah, it looks like that's what he's considering now. Very big hand. What does he get with this Quick Ball? What can he do? Of course, discarding the energy is basically free there, of course. Is this his last Blacephalon?
He prized the other Blacephalon, and having that one knocked out turn 1 is really bad for Andrew here.
Wow, the game is not going how Andrew wants it to go.
Oh, and that's where it stops. He needed to hit a Fiery Flint.
Yeah, needed to hit a Fiery Flint off that Welder. Does not even have a third energy to even attack with Cramorant here, and is not looking good. And it's looking like Pablo has almost for sure sealed up game 2 already.
Yeah, I mean, we can see some tricks from Mahone with this Quick Ball. Can find a Jirachi. He does have the switch to kind of do that, but he's not going to be able to, string those Jirachis together in the same way, I don't think. Also considering just taking the Zacian and saying, okay, what do I want to just give it up now and draw 3 cards, or do I want to kind of keep pushing for an advantage? Looks like he's going to keep pushing indeed. Switch into the Jirachi.
All right, well, there's the Fiery Flint. All right, well, maybe I spoke too soon. There's 0 energy in the discard, though, I believe, right?
Yeah, so he's still not going to have enough energy, I don't think, which is why I think you see Mahone taking some time here, kind of considering considering his options. But at least the Fiery Flint kind of keeps him in the game. Keeps him having things that he can do. He's not just totally relying on the top card of his deck.
Yeah, and also having the Mew here is really good insurance against Tag Bolt GX. We know that Pablo pulled off a pretty crazy Tag Bolt GX with Tag Switch earlier on in the tournament, so it's definitely something on Andrew's mind.
Andrew taking some time here to consider what to discard with the Fiery Flint. Looks like the Retrieval and Switch are going to be the options here, choosing to keep the kind of upgraded versions in some ways with a Scoop Up Net and Fire Crystal in his hand.
All right, and he's actually going to attack with Cramorant here, being able to search his deck for any 2 cards, it looks like.
You can go ahead and beat catch here. So he is taking on some risk here as he is promoting a 2-prizer, but he's just saying, you know what? I don't need to attach to this Blacephalon. I need this Ordinary Rod. I need to keep streaming these Blacephalons. And so I'm willing to go down in the prizes here as long as we can exchange like we did last time. Quick Ball
Especially
and
if we
Ordinary
see
Rod.
Boss's orders from Pablo's side of the field.
Pablo starts things off with a resetting pole.
Other thing to note too is that Cramorant V is weak to electric, so it's just gonna get knocked out unless we do see a Boss's orders.
Quick Ball from Pablo looks like it's going to go ahead and take a Bolton V here. He's committing another Pikachu and Zekrom to the bench. Considering this energy switch, really thinking about it. And now we're seeing the Dedenne GX.
Using all the resources in your hand before you use that Dedenne change.
And there's the boss's order. The boss's order. And this is going to put Andrew on no Blacephalons left, right? If Pablo takes his knockout, he does have the Ordinary Rod. He can put them back in the deck, but he doesn't have them left. He's just going to have those 2. Here's another big full blitz. And look at this.
The other option that Pablo actually had to was maybe even to take out the Mew, but that Blacephalon already having the 2 energy on it, it's a pretty easy knockout against Pikachu and Zekrom GX.
And luckily, Andrew did beat catch for a Quick Ball in addition to the Ordinary Rod, so he can go ahead and immediately find the Blacephalon again. But again, he's still down to this one and just another one are going to have to carry him through this game.
Yeah, the one benefit about this Blacephalon deck that we keep reiterating, though, is the prize swings that it's capable of. Andrew, this turn, most likely will get the Fireball Circus for the knockout, and it's actually going to put him ahead of the game. It's just how many resources he's actually had to spend to get to that point.
Absolutely, and having to find these Blacephalons over and over when I believe your Ultra Space is gone as well, though maybe I'm mistaken about that, is not always an easy task. But for this turn at least, we do have Blacephalon 3 energy, 6 energy in hand. This is going to be a knockout, and suddenly Andrew Mahone will be ahead on the prize exchange.
Yeah, not too shabby for Andrew here. And only needing 1 more tag team knockout to take the victory. Welder from the prizes as well as the Mewtwo Mine Report. So kind of having it both ways. And it's starting to look pretty good for Andrew here. His hand is stacked.
And this just goes to show you, certainly it's anyone's game at this point, but Andrew, just you can go behind with the Blacephalon deck and just come back. Although we did see that Speed Lightning Drive Volkner for Pablo, which can of course find a reset stamp to put Andrew's hand down to only 3.
Yeah, this is definitely a little bit awkward for Pablo here. He kind of wants to take both of the 2 prize attackers for his knockouts and just attack twice, you win the game, that's it. The way his hand is, he doesn't really have an option for that. Does have the great catcher, but yeah, just opts for that reset stamp instead, trying to disrupt the amazing hand that Andrew's been able to build up.
Yeah, but Pablo just kind of choosing to take a little bit more of a conservative route here, not looking to end the game in 2 turns, but just trying to prevent Andrew from getting any traction here.
Oh, well, he gets the
He does
great
not to gate
catcher
catcher.
anyway,
All right.
and with the boss's orders in hand, that could be game next turn. You just discard 2 cards that aren't boss's orders and energy, and you're fine.
And how many times have we seen this, Jeremy? We're seeing the reset stamp into the into the knockout of the Oricorio. You have few cards in hand. You have no draw power besides a Jirachi on board. I have this boss's order in hand, ready to take the knockout. What can Andrew do? He even attacked with the Raichu, so we can put this Vinay active, requiring even more from Andrew to actually win the game.
Lightning Ride GX to the bench.
Really smart heads up play here from Pablo, just giving up the 2 prize Pokemon instead of the 3 prize. The only out that Andrew really has into grabbing Pokemon, which I don't even think he does. Yeah, he's just attacking. He has the 1 great catcher. And so without that, he's kind of stuck here.
And Andrew's hand and a Stellar Wish were not very good. You see him finding the Scoop Up Net off the Stellar Wish, playing both of the Scoop Up Nets in his hand to try and find something here. Fire Crystal and Ultra Space look like they're the options. No Welder in hand.
Having 4 Pokemon in hand, that's not really what you want in this position. And with knowing what Pablo has in hand, Pablo has the game next turn. He's going to tie it up here for him.
Yeah, Andrew's trying to do everything he can. Look at those 3 cards. Those are some pretty explosive ones. But no, it's just his Jirachi is going to stay asleep. We're going to go into Pablo's turn. Pablo, there's the attachment. There's the boss's order.
Boss taking down that Cramorant V. We're going to have the Tandem Shock for 320 damage. No big deal. And Pablo ties it up here in the bad matchup. 1 more game to go. The winner makes it to Grand Finals.
Yeah, wow. We said that the game 1 was how the Blacephalon deck worked and how it, kind of flew on all cylinders. This is how the Pikarom deck is supposed to work. Look at that, just taking knockouts, being aggressive, reset stamping your opponent at the right times, knocking out the Oricorio. Pablo ties this match up. The winner of this match will advance to the Grand Finals. Will it be Pablo defying the odds twice, or will it be Andrew Mahone being able to use his prize exchange to the best of his ability? We are into game 3.
Life's good when you can turn 1 full blitz. So
if Pablo can do that again, the game's going to look really well for him. Does get to go first. Andrew wants to
welder turn 1, as most people would.
And there's a quick ball for the Tapu Koko Prism Star, one of the key pieces that allowed Pablo to get that turn 1 full blitz last time.
You remember when we had to play this deck without Quick Ball and how hard it was to get Tapu Koko Prism out?
Now it's easy.
It's trivial. One of the many upgrades from recent sets for Pikachu and Zekrom GX, a deck that's been popular since it was printed, been dominant since it was printed, has kind of ebbed and flowed, but now right back into the action, right back into being maybe the best deck in the format, or at least in that tier 1 discussion.
Oh, for sure. And again, the start from Pablo here. Pikachu and Zekrom is probably the best deck that can play without that supporter turn 1. You have access to so many Dedenne GX, and then just cards that combo off of your other cards and discarding your energy and getting them back. And it's a really powerful turn from Pablo there.
Definitely. We're back on Andrew's turn now. Jirachi in the active spot. We have a quick ball just deciding what to discard here. Of course, those fire energies are essentially free with the Fire Crystal. 1 Blacephalon in hand already.
Yeah, he's going to need to find a welder off this Stellar Wish really fast.
Otherwise, Intrepid Sword's going to be his best bet. And yeah, eyeing down just another Jirachi, just in case the other one gets knocked out. You know how fast it was. And there's the welder.
All right, so this is exactly what Andrew wants to see. No guarantees yet. Need some good draws off this welder, but here we go. 2 energy and 3 cards.
All right. Well, those are what we call not good draws. Scoop Up Net does allow him to roll the dice again with Stellar Wish, but again, he's just trying to find that turn one Fiery Flint. It is probably the best card to get your deck going as an engine, just because it gives you more cards to discard for other cards, and then you just get them back later. Having the second quick ball for the Zacian, though, is a pretty good backup plan.
Yeah, at this point, he's just saying, I can't afford not to Zacian here. I'm just going to go ahead and Intrepid Sword. Here's
Look at the three cards
in my
he
hand.
found. Fiery Flint, Heat Factory, and a Fire Energy for next turn. Andrew's going to pop off.
Yeah, it seems like the best cards from Andrew's hand always come after an Intrepid Sword. So really, anyone's game here, both players having a decent turn one setup. Andrew would have loved to get a knockout there, but he found the Intrepid Sword. He found some cards off Jirachi. He's ready to go. Next turn, let's see what Pablo can put together this turn.
Yeah, actually draws the Thunder Mountain Prism Stadium and is able to get that in play, meaning he only needs one energy to attack this turn with Full Blitz, and having the Dene GX to draw into a new hand. Volkner does get him there. He was kind of worried a little bit, though. Volkner being the last card.
And there's a Volkner just kind of debating, checking the board, checking everything that's going on, deciding exactly what he needs to do. Again, Pablo knows this matchup isn't good. He knows his opponent has a bunch of cards in hand. He's just trying to say, I need to defy the odds. I need to beat the bad matchup once again. Please let this happen. Let me get it toward again.
Yeah, look at this bench, though. No second big tag team Pokemon. So the damage is really only going to come from this Pikachu and Zekrom GX, and no real great target for the energy from Full Blitz. That means if this Pikachu and Zekrom goes down next turn, Pablo's going to be struggling to actually get a good attack going. Oh, we might see the Dene GX with an Electro Power take the knockout on the active Jirachi here. Oh, man.
It looks like that's exactly what we're seeing. Static Shock, never been so good. One energy, one Electro Power, one prize.
All right. Well, if things don't turn out as planned, you make a new plan. And that new plan was Static Shock.
Absolutely. One of the really keys of being one of the greatest players in the world is that you have to be ready to adjust when things don't go your way. You have to find every single out. You have to determine what the best play is and take it every time. Thunder Mountain Prism is no more. Here's a Heat Factory. There's a bunch of new cards for Andrew Mahone. He does have the ability to get a knockout this turn.
Thunder Mountain and Heat Factory are probably the best two Prism Stadiums to ever exist. The way they change and warp their decks is just great to watch.
Yeah, absolutely. You just need
Heat Factory adds so much consistency.
Yeah, you need more consistency in this deck. Your fire energies are important, but being able to turn one of those into 3 cards is great, and it can't be understated how important, or can't be overstated rather, how important Thunder Mountain Prism is for the Pikachu and Zekrom deck. Just allowing you to skip an energy attachment is so huge, especially with a deck that requires such strong energy requirements.
All right, well, there we see the second Fiery Flint, or first Fiery Flint from Andrew here. And he'll be able to possibly charge up another Blacephalon. Yeah, it looks like it. So pretty good few turns here from Andrew, getting 2 attackers charged up. Not what you usually see in a matchup like this, where it's pretty fast and hard hitting.
Yeah, it's great when you can do that in this deck because you just get to take the pressure off a little bit. You don't need to find a welder on the next turn. Just the chance that you can just not have to find a welder, not have to worry about that side of it, is just so big.
All right, well, there is the Scoop Up Net, and we will see a Fireball Circus here for the knockout, having exactly enough energy. 3 energy in the discard plus the 1 in the hand will be 200 damage, and this Dene GX will be knocked out, and Andrew will take the lead here in Game 3.
Yep, there's putting the welder on top. He's saying, I don't need the welder next turn, but let's just keep this going. There's a big knockout, 4 prizes remaining for Andrew Mahone. He is just 4 prizes away from advancing to the grand finals.
Yeah, and that Mew could come in handy a little bit later. It's pretty good for him to get it from the prize cards. Pablo starting his turn out with a quick ball. No more Pokemon left in the deck for him. And he's going to have to play the third Dedenne GX this turn, I believe. And that's not what you want to see.
You do not want to see that, especially against an opponent that has Cramorant V just kind of waiting in the wings here. Another quick ball, man, of course. Yeah. Still no valid cards.
Like, maybe I missed it. I'll check again.
Pablo
still has access to Dance of the Ancients, so he will be able to really attack this turn. And retreating the Bolton just to get the energy on it, that's his best attacker here, especially since it only gives up 2 prizes. You don't want to subject this Pikachu and Zekrom to be taken down and then just have your opponent win with a Burst GX.
Yeah, he is going to go ahead and take the knockout with that Bolton. 4 prizes remaining for both players. But again, you look at the boards, every single Pokemon on Pablo's side gives up 2 or more prizes.
Yeah, it does. And Mahone starts his turn with another Fire Crystal. I just don't know where he keeps pulling these out of. It's insane. And there's another one.
It draws another one off of the Heat Factory there. And now he's in a position where he does need 4 energy to knock out this Bolton. He has access to, looks like 5 currently, so he can't necessarily do the Welder play onto the new Blacephalon. It will incur some amount of risk if he does that, of not being able to get the knockout here.
Yeah, it's 5 energy in the discard and 4 in play and in hand. Hits the energy retrieval off the top, so I believe that gives him enough here with the 5 in the discard.
I take back everything that I just said. Now he'll be able to do that if he wants. He can recur all 5 in the discard pile.
Yeah, and he hasn't even used an energy retrieval yet. That's just going to be his first one. So he's going to end the turn with 2 Blacephalons almost fully charged up and taking 2 prizes down to 2 prizes. It's looking pretty sweet here for Andrew.
And Andrew just making sure everything makes sense here. So, okay, can I actually afford to do this? Am I miscounting at all? I don't want to miscount. Do I have the switch effect? He does.
Even draws 2 more fire just in case for next turn.
Yeah, he is going to need one to attach one of them to the Blacephalon. But of course, he can. At this point, he can just play the crystal and get the 3 back and take a knockout on this Bolton here.
Yeah.
He does have the scoop up net and the switch. Really tense moment of the game for Andrew. Just needs to decide exactly what he wants to do. What's the best use of resources? Do I play this Mew down? Am I worried about that? What exactly? I need to orchestrate these next 2 turns perfectly because they're probably the last 2 turns of the game.
Well, I think the biggest thing you have to be afraid of if you're Andrew is reset stamp from Pablo here. You're going to be going down to 2 cards, and granted, it's better than 1, but still, when you get your whole hand shuffled away, it's not what you want to see happen. So you kind of want to navigate your turn with that in mind.
Absolutely. So he does play the Mew here. He is just thinking, okay, how can I lose from this position? What do I need to do to guarantee myself the win from this position? He already has enough in hand to take the knockout here. Just consulting the discard pile, trying to remember all of his counts. See, is there anything else I'm missing? Is there anything else that I need to do?
Oh, scoop up net brings the Mewtwo back to the hand, maybe trying to get a Welder later on in the game, but just freeing up that bench space as well.
Yeah, and he can afford to, because he has the Jirachi, he can afford to play the Mewtwo, get the Welder back, and then just Stellar Wish for it. Also puts the Mewtwo back for the reset stamp, which we know the Pablo has.
Yeah, and that could be a little detrimental, but Fire Crystal
off the 2 cards from the reset stamp and Oricorio.
Those are 2 pretty good cards you can get off reset stamp for 2.
Yeah, you can't really ask for much more than that
And wow, yeah, Pablo does not have an energy to actually attack there.
The energy on the Dedenne GX or the Boltune, I think, but Tax, which was not able to. Or no, yeah, he didn't have an energy on the bench. So only 2 energy in play and a pass of the turn. This almost for sure means Andrew's going to at least get enough time to find 3 energy. And there you go.
No,
Double
there it
energy
is.
retrieval.
Wow.
Oh, man. You hate to see it from Pablo's side, but Andrew is able to get revenge for his round 1 loss here in the Invitational.
Wow, we saw that Pablo had that reset stamp, didn't look at the rest of his hand because there is really nothing there, and he was just forced to pass at a crucial moment, and that is the knockout. That is the game, and that is the match.
Wow.
Congratulations to Andrew Mahone, who has, it's like, okay, the odds worked out. The odds were in my favor. I lost to him once. I took it this time, and Andrew Mahone will be meeting Tord Reklev in the grand finals of this tournament.
Wow. Yeah, I never would have thought that he would have had to go through the person that actually took him out of winner's bracket to actually make it into grand finals. But